I just heard, oh man, you hear this stuff all the time too. What is it? Oh, thirsty, right? Like, and we've all been there, right? It's like when we're undernourishing ourselves, when we're not loving ourselves, we're not aligned with ourselves, we're seeking outside ourselves. And when we're not getting filled up outside ourselves because we don't understand this dynamic, we become thirsty, right? We crave and seek that attention, that validation, that quote love, because you're not receiving love from another. And so anyway, they were showing this to me, and it was so sad because this person was really thirsty. And again, I feel like we all can relate. If you're honest with yourself, you realize there's been times where you too have been misaligned and haven't been nourishing yourself, so you were seeking outside oneself. And so we become this idea, thirsty, dehydrated. And so I felt bad for them. And I was like, well, that's even more reason he needs attention, right? Because what it was is somebody was like, oh my God, they're so thirsty, and turned their back on this person, which just seems so mean and so cruel. And I was like, well, that's exactly the wrong thing to do. That's exactly what they need. Give them what they need. And so this could be very arguable because in the moment of saying that, I was like, well, wait a minute, because then they turned to do that, right? Because I had said that in the scene. I was like, wait a minute. Because then I was like, oh my God, it's actually enabling that thirst. It is continuing the wrong direction, right? So it's like when you do feed that thirst, it cements in that false belief that they must seek outside oneself in order to satiate, in order to rehydrate. And that's a lie. So I guess that's the idea of that's like the hard thing to do with an addict, right? It's like you just want to get them the fix, 1, to shut them up, and 2, to calm them down, and 3, to receive your peace and calm, but then you're doing it to get, you say, like, and you're just enabling the behavior. You're just cementing in the lie. You're just continuing the false belief. You're encouraging the false belief. And so it is the hard thing to do, to turn your back. Because that was my first reaction. That was horrible. That's mean. Like that, clearly that. And yet it's like, well, it's hard to watch. It's hard for you to turn your back on because you have it to give. And yet it's not where they need to receive it from. You see what I'm saying? Like they need to tap within and unlock inside and recognize their own worth and value. Excuse me, I don't know why I'm getting on. And so it is that idea where it's actually the kindest thing to do. It's hard, it's challenging for us to do that. And yet it allows them to feel and see their own behavior. Do you know what I mean? But again, of course, it's like then everybody has to do it. Everybody has to be strong enough. Otherwise, they just go replenish elsewhere, which again is not your problem or your responsibility per se, but it's just the idea that let's just use a simpler one of like a drug addict, right? It's like that's clear, cut, and dry. We all know that is not beneficial for them, that they will kill themselves if they continue to be a drug addict. And so the drug will kill them. It'll deplete them of everything. And so it's like you can see that, and you can see that they're out of their right mind. They're not aligned with themselves. They are not centered and coming from a sane, whole, aligned place. And so it's like you want to help them because they'll beg and plead and cry and fuss and scrape and cry, the whole 9 yards. And then when you don't give them what you want, then they'll steal and take and like they'll do anything. Like they see nothing other than their end goal of getting to that drug. They no longer see people, places. It's all irrelevant. They are living in their own cuckoo world. And so It's like you have to know, you have to love yourself so much that you don't cave to that. And you claim that you love them. Well, the real thing to do would be to not cave in any way to that addiction. And keep yourself aligned and loving yourself and honoring yourself and your integrity, your morals, your space, your, whatever. And so let's just use that same example and say they're coming to you for money. So it's like, of course you have the money to give them, but not for that, right? And so it's right there. It's something, it's like you have the money to give them, and so they're going to get mad at you. They're going to want to bully you. They're going to steal it and take it from you if you're not going to give it to them, the whole thing. But it's like, first of all, you owe them no justification, nor do you owe them anything, right? Like, it's your money, not theirs. That's the whole point. And so you get to choose. And so you understand all this. You respect yourself. You love yourself. You stay aligned. You move along. And it's like everybody they come to needs to do the same thing till they get to the point where they either love themselves so much that they figure it the fuck out and go within, or they die off. That's what always ends up happening. And so I guess that boils down to like, what is it? Survival of the fittest, where it's like, how much do you love yourself? How much are you going to fight for yourself, to get back to yourself, to get into alignment? Or you're always going to fight for the drug. You're always going to fight for the fix outside yourself to essentially avoid yourself. That's essentially what a drug addict is doing. They're searching so hard, fighting so hard, excusing so hard, justifying so hard for that outside reason to avoid themselves, avoid loving themselves, avoid seeing their own value and worth, avoid doing the cleanup work to get to their value and worth, to get to their core truth. They're avoiding all that, and they'll scramble at anything and everything, excuse, justifications, drugs, sex, alcohol, the whole, whatever you got, they'll take to avoid doing that. Yeah. So I guess it's always whatever lens you're seeing it through, because like I said, the first way they showed it, I was like, oh, I mean, that's exactly what they need. Right? But it's like, no. You're right. They do need that. And they need it from themselves. They need to learn to love themselves. They need to learn and understand what that actually means. And it's like the only time they're going to get that is when they fully go within and discover it on their own. If they keep busying themselves and avoiding themselves with all the exterior, they'll never get there. Is this the idea that some of us have to go into isolation? We get so distracted by so much on the outside that we can never get on the inside. And that's doing a disservice to us and all those around us, really. You can't show up as your best self if you're not fully aligned with oneself. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. You can now purchase an audio journey with me using the link below.